Hey, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. It's time to talk about Star Trek Prodigy, Season 1, Episode 5, the final episode for the time being, Terra Firma. Many people online seem to be saying they preferred this one to the last. I didn't, though I do fully agree that both were solid episodes, and this one was most definitely a solid conclusion to the whole stranded on the alien world story that they set up in Episode 4. I know, I jumped right into it, but come on, I got 2 reviews to do this week. I got no time to mess around. Alright, so, first of all, the planet itself, which is probably more of a gigantic being than an actual planet. The more we learned about it, the more fascinating and innovative the idea became. Like, not only does this thing create illusions in order to attract its prey, but it can also terraform itself just to get you all confused about where you are and where you're going. It's really clever. I mean, I'm not convinced consuming metal is really gonna help it thrive, but the worms do that in Dune, so why not this planet here? Anyways, I found the planet being to be conceptually fresh, not only for the franchise, but I mean the sci-fi genre in its entirety, much more than a dying star. Not only was it an interesting idea, but it also managed to play 2 major parts in character development. The first being between Dal and Gwyn, because the planet was constantly terraforming, they needed to find a way to keep track of where they were. And so they looked up at the stars and used them as fixed points, much like generations of humans have done before us in the real world. It was a nice moment, honestly. I really liked it. It was, it developed not only each character on their own, but it also kind of developed their rapport, and it was also a pretty good teaching moment for the kids watching the show. The lesson was subtly delivered, but explicit enough to get the idea across. The second piece of character development, or rather personality exposition, that the planet enables us to get was with Gwyn's father, the Diviner. Because yeah, he chose the ship. So on one hand, that really sets up the growing distance between them both, and the resentment Gwyn has for her father. It also nails in that idea of the ship being more important to her than him, but think about it. It's even worse. Considering the planet shows you what your heart desires the most in order to, like, trap you there, and the planet showed him the ship, it means he really came to the planet just for the ship, not a second thought about his progeny. What a goddamn terrible person. Oh my goodness. It was pretty cool to learn how messed up this guy is, actually. And come on. I was completely fooled by the plot twist, the reveal, however you want to call it. The fact that the ship was an illusion, let's not gloss over that, because that was pretty friggin' amazing, and I did not expect that. I did not see it coming for 1 second. I was truly duped. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Funny thing is, not for a moment did it actually cross my mind that the planet would affect him. I don't know. It surprised me. Anyway, Janeway. I think it's about time I take a few seconds to comment on Janeway, or rather, Hollow Janeway. We're 5 episodes in at this point, so it's pretty evident this is the Janeway we're getting. I mean, clearly there's more to the character than we currently know, but when it comes to the design and the animation, the general execution of her, this is it. And look, apart from a few janky mouth animations that don't always quite follow the dialogue, I like her. She's evidently Janeway, you can clearly see that, and yet she suits the aesthetic of the show quite well. Kate Mulgrew's voice acting is very good, and the character itself manages to always help and push our main characters without completely stealing the show. I was afraid her presence would be a little overpowering, but no, she complements the show rather than take over it. And that's the case even in this episode, where she even had her own story. Actually, having her ask what the real Janeway would do was a pretty nice touch, because it made her feel more like her own character, her own self, if that makes sense. I know we don't do much of this here, speculation and theory crafting, but I'm pretty sure she comes from the same tech as the EMH. The ECH, when the Doctor becomes the emergency command hologram, and anyway, just the Doctor in general. I think that, this Janeway hologram is coming from that tech. A few more things I wanted to mention is Dal continuing his captain logs. That's fun. It makes the episodes that much more Star Trek, and it's a nice touch to have him be so invested in the idea of keeping logs. I hope to see more of them from him and from other characters too. Then there's the proto-warp drive or trans-warp drive powered by a proto-star. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's very important. Basically, the ship in its center has a proto-star, a newborn star, and that proto-star enables them to act activate some sort of hyper warp drive that conventional warp speeds clearly cannot keep up with. Seemingly this is experimental tech, and obviously the Diviner wants the ship because of this tech. I am intrigued about the whole thing, though I am worried about continuity. Discovery Season 3 made it very clear that no one moved away from dilithium in millennia, so whatever this protostar tech is, it has to fail. To finish this all off, the voice acting is solid all around, as much from the adults as from the kids. So congrats to everyone. Yeah, the animation is still at times kinda meh, but the art design makes up for that. And it's these still shots, like this one here for example, that really drive the visuals home, because this is stunning. Oh, and yeah, that music, it's so good. It's so good. And is it me, or did I hear a hint of Kelvin in there at some point? Alright. When it comes to Toddler, she watched the whole thing from beginning to end. Initially, she was frustrated because she wanted to watch her own thing, not this, but I kind of forced her through the opening credits. And then it's like she forgot that she didn't want to watch it. The only moment she zoned out a little was when our trusty crew here were camping in the Bird of Prey. I don't know, maybe that was a little slow for her. From a parent's perspective, taking into consideration my child is a little young for the show, I do think this episode was a good watch. Very little violence, nice lessons, mind-opening concepts, beautiful music. So yeah, an enjoyable episode for both the adults and the children in the household. Alright, Easter eggs and references, starting with the Klingon Bird of Prey. As you can see, it was very faithfully recreated both inside and out. This is Gach, a Klingon delicacy, and this is a Mek'leth, a Klingon weapon first introduced in Deep Space Nine. The warp speed chase is visually reminiscent of the one in Into Darkness. We get a better look at these little worker bots that were inspired by the Next Generation's exocomps. And finally, this whole sequence is most definitely inspired by this one from The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Okay, that's it. That's all of it. I'm done. I'll see you back again in the week of January 6th for Prodigy videos, because Discovery's taken over at the moment. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment. There are so many things to do. It's almost like a second job, but no, I'm kidding. It only takes a couple seconds. Come on. Click the like button. Click it. That's Shatner. I need to get Shatner in here to ask people to like and subscribe. He's never gonna do it. Anyway, okay, alright. I'm rambling on. Big thanks to the channel patrons, and live long and prosper.